And congratulations to all the inductees who are here tonight being inducted, and those who are here who were inducted previously. It's been a long day and a long yesterday. One thing that stands out to me is that yesterday I was on a promotional board, and the emotion that came out from some of the toughest people I know, getting misty-eyed and weepy-eyed, and then earlier today I almost broke down and couldn't go on, and here we are tonight, and Mr. Castellanos is emotional, and all this emotion coming out from these tough people. It's wonderful to see this, to see the soft side of so many of the toughest people I've ever met. This gentleman that I'm introducing tonight is, I love this man. I've known him seemingly forever, and there's very few people in the martial arts who have name recognition that he does by one name, the Jet. Very few. There's Superfoot and Wallace, and there's a handful of others. When I first, many of you know that I've been a writer for many years. I've been writing books since 1988, and I've probably written 50 biographies, and many of them martial artists. And there was a moment when I decided that Benny, his life story should be written. And I was standing in Bob White's Royal Family Kids Banquet Hall one night. I was talking to a group of people, and suddenly the volume level dropped in the entire room. It's a big room. And the volume level dropped. And I thought, what happened? Did somebody faint? Did somebody fall down? Something happened. And I watched where people were looking, and I turned to the doorway, and Benny had walked into the room. That's all that had happened. He had come into the room. And the recognition of this man, that people stopped talking and turned to recognize his presence. I had seen that before with Bruce Lee. I'd seen it before with Ed Parker, and maybe one or two others, but I saw it in this man, and I said, this man's story needs to be written. I sent him a letter, and I said, Benny, would you be interested in doing your life story? We got together and did that. When I first met Benny to talk on the first day, I asked him, I said, how far do you want to go with this book? Do you want to, keep it vanilla? Do you want to go, how far? He said, I want you to tell the good, the bad, and the ugly. Everything, leave nothing out. And he didn't. And he talks about in his book, he talks about his early youth and his drinking and his drugging and his gang fighting, and he went to prison later and all. But his life story is what I love. The type of story I love to tell is that of change and spiritual change. And Benny the Jet, everybody will agree, is probably, undoubtedly the best pound-for-pound fighter the martial arts has ever known. And the change that this man has had in his life, spiritually, through the help of his lovely wife, Sarah Eaglewoman, and through his Native American ways, is something worth reading. He has become a spiritual being on top of being a warrior. And I am proud and honored to call him my friend, Mr. Benny the Jet. Sensei Benny the Jet Urquidez.
Wow. Actually, thank you. That was, I have to pay you big time for that one. But however, I came here because Frank Trejo actually nominated me as an inductee here, and I came here because I wanted to let everybody know how he meant to me and why I'm here accepting this, because of how we grew up and how I know him as a young man, and he became a great warrior. But I look at everybody here and I see a family reunion. This is what I see, family here. Some of you, I had a great honor to actually go out there and compete with, some train with, some learn from, some travel with, but I just see a big family here. And truly, for me, the journey has been great. And because I'm thankful I can still understand myself after all these wars. You know, it's been a great journey for me. And I realized that in the journey, it was all about one great thing: my belief system. What do you believe in? And because again, when it really comes down to it, a program that we've been taught to believe a certain way, to taste a certain thing, or somebody will actually say, taste this cake, and then they're telling you, oh, it tastes with lemon, and they're telling you how it tastes. And so I realized the program, no matter what country, what language you speak, we all are the same. We all cry, we all bleed, and we all have the same type of emotions, no matter what language you're speaking, where you're coming from. And because emotions are emotions, anger, fear, frustration, anxiety is all the same. So the journey to me has really been about, what do I believe in? I've been very fortunate, very blessed to travel around the world. I've been to some countries I can't even pronounce some of the names, but we're going back in the 70s to travel to a third world country. To me, I was competing and introducing a sport to the world. To them, it was fighting against country, which I didn't know. I just thought I was competing against an opponent. But in that, taught me a lot about me, about who I am, about my journey, what's my purpose and reason why I exist. And so when I came and I started to watch, everybody that I've worked with and had contact with in some way over the years, my journey started in boxing in 58, judo in 60, and I started my Kenpo walk in 63. So in this, all the way up until 73, when full contact karate started, I talked to Mr. Parker, and I was really blessed because Mr. Parker used to really go deep, and I never used to understand when he used to tell me certain things until later on. When I asked him about actually going into full contact karate, he said,